Hello everyone and welcome to another Division 2 video. Today we continue League group phase. There still have not been any additional uh, games from the playoffs except for one that is castable. So hopefully on Monday we can start with that. I'm going to start with the one that is already out there anyway, but hopefully there will be more after that point and we can actually continue this league journey. Otherwise I'm going to cast some more playoff games, tournament games. I think there's still some interesting ones there that we haven't seen. Did I say tournament? Group phase is what I wanted to say. But yeah, anyway, so this one is between Gustgod and GamerGeek. If you haven't seen Game 1, go check that out. It was won by GamerGeek. So here we have Game 2 on Bobr with Panssaridivisioona versus 6 South African, both on balanced incomes. An odd choice for definitely for Panssaridivisioona. 6 South African you can play on balance. I've done it as well. It is doable. Now I think Panssaridivisioona is definitely the more odd choice here. You have some CQC on this map where you can get into, but eh. And I just don't know. I mean, I think 6 South African is just the better choice, and I would still probably prefer something with a little bit more infantry focused than 6 South African, like a mechanized division, but it's still a decent choice, I would say, at least compared to Panssaridivision. But anyway, I think it's time we go to the decks. And we are going to start off with Panssaridivisioona, the division that we, I think, haven't actually seen on this channel at all. So that's definitely the more unique and interesting one of the two. Now, I do want to point out that the activation points here are 47 out of 50, and I'm not 100% sure if this division might have gotten some changes in terms of slot costs after the game has been played, or if GamerGeek just made a mistake here, or if for some reason it didn't copy everything correctly when I imported the deck, but that's at least how I opened it. So the recon we do have some BAFC, so that's after nice, and then some Tarka Ampuya. For some sniper action infantry tab, we do have the Lahitoriunta, Yakari, and Kivari in A-phase, together with the Kivari Kbal, as the leader. Now I'm pronouncing all of these horribly wrong, probably. Even though I've just recently watched Panzer's videos of his infantry tier list where I could him pronouncing things correctly, but I just couldn't remember everything. But anyway, so one of the weaknesses of this division is, of course, that you don't get a lot of ranged infantry, and we can see this right here. The Kivari are the only ranged infantry that you get. That is not disheartened, and it's the only card in A phase. In B phase, we get the Nostovaki, or Nostovaki, or however you pronounce them correctly. Now these are disheartened, not that good, but they're only 15 points and you get 24 of them, so at least you have a little bit of range, but then you're back to Yakari for the rest of B and C phase, which can definitely be problematic. Tank tab, we do have a ton of T26Bs. We have one card in A and one in B phase. This is going to be super annoying because you can just sprinkle them everywhere. Now, their use, of course, against the Piat infantry is very, very limited. But, you know, if one of them manages to get a side shot on a Sherman and kill it, that's already worth it. Pays for half the card, probably. Then we have the T28, which is not that good in this specific matchup. I feel like it probably won't kill a Sherman, and that's about it. It is cheap, I give it that. Then we have the Klimi, which is a KV1, I think. So that's definitely, they can definitely upgrade to Sherman nicely. And then the Sturmy, which is just a strict 3, but with extra armor, because I think it has locks on it for extra protection or something like that. I mean, 5mm of armor is definitely nice to have, and it doesn't come with a price increase, so who wouldn't take that? Then we also get the Sotka 85, which is a T3485. This is definitely going to be a problem for Gustgod until B phase, where he will have access to the Sherman 76s, and then we have some more Sturmies. Support amp, we do have the 50mm mortar, which I love to see. This thing, even though I think it's a short range one, if I recall correctly, is an absolute beast machine gun. BT42. Commander, which, to be honest, since he doesn't even have that many leads, I would just ditch that and take probably more machine guns to get the range. And then we have the IC-152 as well as some ammo. A D-tab, just some Lati, then the 50mm and the 75mm. Surprised that we don't see any Tanki Torjunta because these are definitely going to be needed against Shermans. And then the AA tab, we have the IT PSV 41, which is for all intents and purposes a Nimrod, as well as some Bofors, and then no artillery tab at all, which I think which makes you think it would perfectly fit if there's two things in here. So yeah, either some activation points were reduced after this deck was built, or I don't know, it didn't include 2 units here or something. Either of those has to happen. But he can definitely use the BT-42s for artillery as well in the support tab. These can be used in interact first. I imagine that this is what he's going to do. And then the air tab, we do have some recon Blenheim Ju-87s, cluster and bomber variants, and then some DO-17 in B phase as well for maximum air spam. I do have to say, I think the Ju-87 is a little bit redundant here because you have the Blenheim doing the same job basically. Right, Ju-87 can be good to force out AA. And now with the medium resistance, not too bad, but the Blenheim is just better because it doesn't do the loop. So yeah, I don't know. But you don't have that many more options in this air tab, to be honest. On the other side, we do have Gustgod 6 Armored, a division that I personally like quite a bit. It is definitely a bit situational on when to be used, but it can be quite a bit of fun. Recon, now we do have the Iraqi coming with the 2-inch carry. We have a Sherman Recon and then a Greyhound in B phase, which is odd. So this is basically an M8, and you usually want to use this in A phase for some nice pressure early on. I guess he's afraid of the Latis, which is fair, but I mean, it's not going to go away. So I'm definitely a bit surprised. In the we do have the field engineers and motorized rifles in A phase, so very weak in A phase, which is a very risky thing. You sometimes see this, and it usually doesn't turn out super well. And now they do come in with the 50 cal half track, which will do a lot of damage and suppression. Then in B phase you have this old pioneers and then motorized rifles and 2 cards of rifles. But you cannot bring any infantry other than regular rifles in C phase, so I guess that's why he put everything in B phase. And I probably still want to have 1 card in A phase, if I'm going to be honest. Tank tab, we do have tons of Shermans and Fireflies, 1 card of Fireflies in A, 1 in C phase, and then in B phase you do get access to the Sherman 2A, which is a Sherman 76, and in my opinion one of the best medium tanks in the game. Basically only beaten by the Sherman 76 that Blinde gets, because that one has 100 millimeters of armor. This one only has 90. And as a supporter, we do have Vickers, Commander, Supply, and 2K AT. AT tab, an interesting choice here with the Piat, considering that all his infantry has Piats, but I guess he's afraid of all the armor that Panssaridivisioona can bring, so he probably wants to have some more AT, which is fair. Then 6-pounder, 17-pounder, and the M10. I still don't know how you pronounce it correctly. Grouse, but it's definitely gross. I can tell you that one. This thing is absolutely fantastic. I mean, it's still an M10, and it can still function as an M10 quite nicely. It also has the old price of 65 points, which is deliberate from what I know, and it has indirect fire too, so and radio. So this thing can actually act as artillery, and it is quite accurate within radio. Absolutely fantastic unit. Such a beast. Definitely not to be underestimated. I'm surprised that he only takes the one. AA tab, we have a lot of veterans here, which I think is pretty fair, because whenever you play against a Finnish division, you do have to expect air spam and a lot of it. So there's that. Artillery tab, also quite big, because you also have to expect artillery spam usually, so he brings the priests and 114s, quite a lot of those. And then the air tab, we do have some recon, Spitfire, Baltimore, and Marauders in C phase, so a lot of air spam planned as well. Now I'm surprised that he brings the Spitfire as the fighter variant, because you can get the fighter bomber for the same price. It has 2 sets of bombs, and both are quite big. And it's a bit slower, but it's still very fast. And you don't get the veterancy, of course, but you still get 2. So I'm yeah, surprising that choice to me, but definitely fair if you want to have it that way. And here we are back on Bobr. Now, one thing that I do want to point out before we start is, so someone has asked me if I could start the game and then start talking about the deployment as the units are driving to the front line. I did this last cast, if you remember, and I will do it here again, but I do want to point out that there is a poll on my channel at the time that this video goes live, so you can go to my channel under community. There will be a poll where you can vote if you want to provide feedback, and the options are basically, you want to have me talking about deployment as I always did, you want to have it as I'm going to do it in this video, where units are ordered driving to the front line, or you just want me to talk less about deployments in general. These 3 options do exist. If you want to give feedback, go hop over there and provide me that feedback. It is very, very helpful. At the end of the day, just, if you have a clear preference, give a vote, because then you might actually get what you want. And with that, I think it's time that we actually start talking about it. I'm going to do this last time. I'm going to set it to half the speed as I talk about it. So down south, we do have a not super aggressive deployment by a Gustgod, but he still tries to go for this hill, which is relatively common. Both players have recon out right at the start. By the way, do have a defensive deployment from GamerGeek. Now, you need to hurry a little bit, I think. Defensive deployment here in the center. I'm not sure what the Vickers is supposed to do. I guess it has line of sight, but you can also deploy like here or even back here, and then you have a little bit, you are there a little bit earlier. Now, GamerGeek is not trying to get across his defensive here as well. Let's see what we have here. Gustgod going also defensively here, here, and here. This is definitely going to be the tricky part, although with the speed of Panssaridivisioona, it might not be that big of a problem. Then also not very aggressive deployment by GamerGeek here, and another defensive one up north. This could oh no, I was going to say, this is probably not going to arrive there. But yeah, and Gustgod doesn't try to go aggressive either. So definitely an interesting choice. So the thing with river maps is this: you need to get across early on at somewhere, because if you don't, it's just going to get increasingly difficult to do so later on. And yeah, it will just get harder and harder because people have the time to fortify. Now on Bobr you still have a lot of crossings, but they are still easy enough to cover, so it's not this concept still stands true. Looks like this thing tried to go after the Mosquito. Spitfire already getting in. It is on the run. It might get out, maybe not. I don't think so. I think the Spitfire is going to get it. But yeah, you need to get across early on, because otherwise it's just going to get very, very difficult. So this is just something to keep in mind. Now, the other thing here is that for GamerGeek, of course, it's difficult. There we go. Recon goes down. AA is already coming in, though. Hack 38 tried to stop the armor blob. It's gonna get wasted though by all the Shermans, and the half track goes down. It managed to pen one Sherman, but this is about it. T26 here to stop the half track can definitely do that. Can also deal with the 2-inch carrot if it pops out too far, but can't do anything against the Sherman, so it should see a response there soon, which we do not yet. But yeah, I mean, Gustgod could definitely have taken advantage of the speed difference and tried to get across here for sure. Up here anyway, this is this is an area where you commonly push. Now he has to be careful because of the Akari, but he still has a range advantage there, and he has the half track, so he could have taken a lot of advantage of that. The other both is now coming in up north. Now, because of the speed difference, that looks like GamerGeek didn't even try to grab this flag, which is otherwise very common. But he could have definitely like put forces into here and then deployed in a way that he can start pushing this flag. This is the other thing that you can do, right? If you can't push right at the start, right with your deployment, which sometimes is the case, what you can do then, of course, is just make sure that once your units arrive, you can start building a push from there. Now, do you have the Shermans pushing across? That's definitely going to be a problem. Gustgod has nicely selected a leader and a recon Sherman, so that this armor blob here is going to have good vision, and it's going to have some leadership as well. That's going to be problematic. Now, Sturmy is coming in. If he positions up here, he can definitely outrange them, but the Shermans will find ways to get into range. Now, the Sturmy should at that range win, but we have to keep that in mind. Yakari here grabbing the flag. Now, they do not have rated rate, so this is going to go away. JU87 Classic coming in, that might hurt quite a bit. 50 cals are definitely going to do some pinning, but they won't, suppression, but they won't pin it in time and force it off, but they might, yeah, they might force the spreads to be large enough for them to survive. T26 could try to pop out and maybe get a good side shot somewhere, but it doesn't look like he's trying to. No, he's doing it. Very nice there. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to be able to get a side shot, but it was definitely a nice attempt. Shroomy now coming in. If you get up close to that, you have to be a little bit more careful. That's for sure. Mosquito still providing some recon. ITPSV is there to stop that, though. You might actually shoot it down. These things are not too bad. I think in terms of, yeah, I think it's basically both verse in terms of the gun and what it does. Now, this thing can also go down quickly, as I have learned recently, to a crit. I'm not sure if this is specific to one recon mosquito or all the recon mosquitoes, or if they're, I don't even know if they're different actually between different divisions, but I've recently learned, because I didn't know before, that there is a bug where they get the same crit table as the biplanes, and then they can easily go down to just one crit. Shermie claims the first victim, and I mean, these Shermans are definitely weakened. This one not so much. Recon looks like it was, and this one has been penned once, I think. It looks damaged. Yeah, now we do have another Sherman coming in and a Bofus to cover it off, which together with the 50 cal penny, as we've seen was not just quite a bit. Will definitely stop another attempt of getting through with a cluster plane. Pack 38 here finds a Sherman. Sherman, does it spot it pack 38 or does it shoot at something else? Oh, transmission damage. It's already going to be annoying. It's also going to make it much easier for this thing to continue to fire on that Sherman. We're not within APCR range, it doesn't look like, so it has 100mm of pen versus 100mm of armor. T26 here wins the range fight. Interesting there. So the Arcadi could potentially start pushing across, and I mean this is the advantage that GamerGeek has. If he gets into town area, he can then start locking it down with his CQC infantry. Same for CQC area. So he will definitely have an advantage if he can force CQC fights. If he cannot, he's gonna have a really hard time. So this also means Strum here is double teamed. Some side shots maybe. I can't decide what to shoot at and doesn't shoot at all. BAF kills the Sherman. Wow, how unlucky. Needs to be careful though. Can't generally speaking can't pen the Sherman. If the leader Sherman kills the Stormy, it's definitely going to be bad. Bofus is not in a good spot to stop the Ju-87. Ju-87 might have lost line of sight, so the classes will probably miss. Yeah, they do. Oh, and it turns a little bit too early. Spitfire gets on the back of it. Will probably shoot it down. Might get too close to the IP. No, it turns super quick. Oh, it looks like Gustgod microed it to turn fast because he didn't want to fly into the TPSV. That's definitely a really nice play there. Light Torunta versus Field Engineers. So these things are usually great, in my opinion, because it's 15 points for a TNT, and you can kind of treat it as suicide TNT unit, but it also has the Lati rifle, which can be useful. So I think it is actually quite nice, but if you go against the Field Engineers, of course, it's just an equal trade. Not a Ju-87 coming in for the Sherman 5, a recon here, but there is a Bofus. I should be able to stop that. Spitfire has been called back though, so it should not be able to shoot that one down. Question is, sorry, not sure if you could hear that, but might still take a lot of damage from the Bofus. It is medium resilience, so it should get out, I would think. But yeah, as I was going to say, GamerGeek just needs to get a lead and then dig in. And I think then he can definitely win that with his infantry. But and he needs to get away from this like strict front line across the river, because the problem is there, he doesn't have unlimited tools to deal well with these Shermans. I mean, he has Stormy and he has a few of those, so the options are definitely there, but he will run out of them before Gustgod runs out of Sherman. And these kind of things here are extremely useful if you can, like, if you are in this town area, you can just spam them around everywhere and they will find side shots. They will. And that kind of provide a lot of value by that. Icaria could push forward for that Sherman. The front line kind of tells GamerGeek that it is there, but he hasn't realized yet. We do have the Priest coming in for some nice artillery, another Stormy for the hill. Looks like Gustgod is not trying to go there super aggressively. He generally reinforces, but does not attempt any bigger pushes. Now, generally speaking, if you have pushed somewhere, and basically no matter whether they failed or succeeded, or if you haven't started pushing somewhere right at the start, you definitely want to do it as soon as possible, because once again, the longer you wait, the more time you give your opponent to build up defenses, the harder it's going to get. So I personally would say both of these players should start pushing now somewhere. We do see some forces being built up here, but I think the time window to try and cross here is definitely gone. As some of the infantry gets absolutely destroyed by the 50 cals, and the T26 has died as well. In this area there would definitely be options for plays, and it's not covered super well, but so far no such attempts are being made. And up north here, of course, Gustgod is very weak. GamerGeek could actually push across it, but I don't think he's realized that yet. I mean, that's totally fair. I'm not trying to shame him on that, because it is very common for Red Side to push heavily here, so he has to put all of these defenses down. But he could try to poke now here. He should have definitely noticed that Gustgod was pushing heavily down south. I mean, 3 Shermans is quite the investment early on in one position, and there's other units on other places as well. So he could safely assume that this is not strongly defended, but of course this is going to change. Sherman Iraq here is definitely something that can be dealt with a Stormy. But so far, Stormies and a T-34-85 or Sotka 85 here are coming in down south instead. Just an odd choice. Oh, yeah, Cardi, it looks like, tried to go forward for the Sherman. Either that or the Sherman just spotted the Akari. Like Torunta's going after it. Sherman, for some reason, Sturmy was not facing it. Got penned, I think it was a side shot at least. Returns Vedo and kills the leader, so even though it was not very damaged visibly, it was still a little bit damaged from the cluster run, and that was enough for the Sturmy to one-shot it. We have another priest now out, so Gustgod definitely decided that it's time to start the arty party, and now we do have Sherman 2A coming in, which is definitely dangerous for the Stormy. I mean, it is a Sherman 76, and it's only 5 points more expensive than the Stormy, so it's at this point you get something that is about equally as strong, better in a tank battle, I mean, uh, but otherwise just much better. Stormy now, I think, going after the infantry. No, the Sherman 5 there. It definitely has some potential for some nice angles here. Another Stormy here. That's definitely, that could potentially work out really nicely for him, and is very dangerous for Gustgod. There's a Bofus here that could be spotted. There's a priest that no, it's not going to work out, and it's just barely out of range. Oh, but the Stormy goes down to, I don't know, this Sherman maybe? Don't know what it spots now. The Kivari, yeah, it does. Stormy now pushing forward. I think it finds the Bofus, right? Should be. Yep, it does. Misses though. Ah. Gustgod does not notice. That is potentially very dangerous. Bofus goes down. 17 pound is now out. BAF gets killed by what? That Sherman? Or did he get sniped by the priest that was shooting in that direction as well? 70 pound now going after the Stormy. Misses, I think? No, bounces. That might have been the Sherman that bounced. T26 kills the Sherman, goes down though. Sotka here, finding the half-track, gets the kill. Stormy here, running, but gets killed from the Sherman 2A. 17 pounder also still there, wreaking havoc. Yukari now in here. This is going to be tough for Gustgod to get those out of there again. But the problem for GamerGeek is that they're right now not really threatening anything, so it needs to have something that can actually push outside of the forest for it to be a threat, right? Right now there's the potential to be a threat, but it is not threatening that much. Sherman 2A versus Pack 38. Pack 38, of course, at this range, yeah, will struggle a little bit killing it, and it is stressed out, so it might miss. Might not, though. Oh, trade. I mean, that's definitely a good trade for GamerGeek, nothing to complain there. Priest now going after the machine gun. So I would assume that Gustgod tries to push that. Oh, he brings it in no side. Brings the Bofus in the Stuart Reme, which is a recon. I think otherwise recon or a command steward. Something like that. I think command steward. It's just another 50 cal unit, which is going to be super obnoxious for GamerGeek. I mean, he has the Lati and the Lahitoriunta, but he doesn't have an endless amount of them. They might not be in all the positions where he wants them. We do see a push here with the Yakari, but they get stopped by the Vickers. The other one might actually be able to get in. If he gets into CQC range, it will shred that Vickers. And the Assault Pioneers probably just get the Molotov shoved up their throat, and then, yeah. Rifles, motorized rifles is definitely going to be a problem. They currently do have some SVTs, but Molotov should, yeah, there we go. Molotov should force the Assault Pioneers to move, though. Does not get thrown. It did get thrown. Assault Pioneers did not move, Oh, Yakari can't decide in which direction to move, gets surrendered. More Yakari coming in. 70-pounder finds the Stormy leader. Oh, Stuart Reme was found by the T-34-85, but the Bofus is on the run. We do have some rifle speed here ready for push as well. Yakari are going to be targeted by the priest. More Yakari coming in here. Soul Pioneer goes down. Flag grabbed 1311 for GamerGeek with a very ballsy move of just driving them in. And it's not a fast transport either. Blenheim coming in, but the 2-star Bofus will stop that. There we go. Spitfire will go on the back. We'll probably get on the back of that and might be able to shoot it down. Will it? It will. There we go. So 17-pounder actually is going to get to survive. Another Yakari pushing forward from here. I have not noticed that. And grabs another flag. 14-10 all of a sudden. So if GamerGeek manages to grab another flag, he might bring it to an early 59, which on river maps I would say is huge. Because it has a huge impact. One good spot for him to cross would of course be this. Now he doesn't know, but the front line here should definitely tell him that, you know, it's gonna take that the next thing is gonna be a little bit further away because this one does not affect the front line. So he could potentially guess, oh, Mosquito goes down, wing ripped off. There goes the crit, the Mosquito crit. That just hurts. Oh, artillery leader goes down in the Bedford, still survives, but that's definitely a little hurting a little bit. We have more T2. We have two more T28 coming in. Jesus. And there we go. We have artillery. For some reason it didn't show it when I took the deck code, but we do have artillery. I would have been surprised if there wasn't. So I guess we're probably gonna have two 150s in one car, which is two in B phase, and then four in C phase would be my guess. Or it took A phase artillery, I don't know. It is definitely not vetted, we know that much, and there we go, we see the ICU-152. We might want to get some vision first, although it looks like the 17 model here died to that one Yakari. The Yakari did die to the Soul Pioneer, but I mean, it killed off a 17-pounder. That's definitely worth it. Kivari here against the motorized rifles. Now, the Kivari has the better loadout, in theory, the DP, but it has fewer rifles. It has all the Suomis, which at this range doesn't matter. And I think it's out of cover. Is it still winning this though? The brand is deadly though, so you have to keep that in mind. 50mm mortars getting involved should definitely win that fight. Oh, Sherman 76 goes down to a 75mm, so pack 40 base. 6-pounder here in position to cover off the river. And another thing that we need to keep in mind, by the way, is that both these areas here, or generally this crossing, is something that is usually not that heavily guarded, so this is actually sometimes a good place to push. Now it can be annoying, especially for the blue side, because you have the two forest patches here. That's not going to make things very easy, but just something to keep in mind, that both sides usually don't put a lot here, so sometimes they can actually work out. Do you have reinforcements for the town here? So it looks like GamerGeek is trying to focus on this again. I'm not so sure if that's a good idea, because once again, Gustgod is now reacting and putting a lot of forces here to try and counter this, so you might want to push somewhere else while Gustgod is spending a lot of points on this, because Gustgod probably cannot just easily push himself again. Also with the Yakari, he can easily hold that, so one J87 did go down, the other one is still alive, and I think the Spitfire that was called in did survive. Back to 12-12, so not much happening here at the start. We do see the 150 now going after the both is definitely a good choice, because of course once these units are down, the 50 cal are going to be annoying, but other than that, there is a lot of potential here for airplay, so it's definitely reasonable. Does he have... No, I don't think it's in radio range. No, I don't think so. But I mean, it's a 150, so it should definitely kill that. Up north, neither of the players really decided to make any big pushes, or reinforce for that matter. So everything that was true, I don't know, a couple of minutes ago is still true now. There's definitely potential for a push here for GamerGeek. Now, Gustgod could also try. This flag here is not super well defended. He could even try to sneak through here, although this is a hard one to grab and hold. But now we do see the push that I mentioned that you could definitely do. Nice to see by GamerGeek that he decides to push there somewhere else. He could definitely, I don't know, probably grab gather a little bit more forces and then push across here, and then simultaneously try a push on top. I mean, up north, I don't see why not. And that would definitely put a lot of pressure on the Gustgod. So that's something that he could do 100%. Gustgod, in feeling safe enough to invest into more artillery, he knows that if you don't get across on the river map, of course, it's going to turn into a long grind. And this is always true on Bobr, a little bit less so than other maps, but still very true. But you can also punish that, right? If GamerGeek now starts applying a lot of pressure, you might be able to take advantage of that. If you can actually get across and your opponent overinvests into his backlines, then it's going to be very, very devastating. But as I said, the longer GamerGeek waits, the harder it's going to get. Now, the same is also true for Gustgod, of course. But I would say he has a little bit more depth in some of the crucial tasks than GamerGeek has. And GamerGeek has lost of his planes already, so well, not a lot of his planes, but he has taken some significant losses. So that will definitely affect how this is going to continue. Another 150 is coming in. We have now reached sea phase, and both these players have unlocked their income peak. Piet here. It's going to reveal itself. It's going to get spotted. Motorized rifles are driving past as Gustgod does not notice. The Vickers now, unfortunately, will put a lot of pressure onto this unit and might stop that push early on. BAF is now on the move. The BT is also on its way, but I don't think... Yeah, I cannot pin the Vickers in time. Greyhound and motorized rifles are now redirected, so that's definitely going to be a problem there. 150 is just going after that blob here. Priest currently silent. The other priest also silent. The 114 also silent at the moment. Not both is being called in as the first one did die to the 150. I mean, yeah. He has definitely seen that GamerGeek is ready to do the air spam, so he wants to have AA available at all times. That is a smart decision. GamerGeek has the area here as well, so he can be happy with how things are right now. But of course, Gustgod could still overwhelm that one ITPSV. That's not something that is unkillable. ISU 152 versus Firefly here. It looks like GamerGeek decides to disengage. Oh, Firefly misses, I think. Yeah. So it is still alive. Oh, no, it finds a side shot. Still misses though. Yeah. Wow, lucky. 3 misses on that Firefly. That must hurt. This is, of course, a very valuable tool for GamerGeek, so to be a little bit careful of how you use it. But at the same time, if you not use it, you may already have lost it, basically. So that's one way to see it as well. Oh, half-track here being just absolutely annoying. We do have more infantry coming in. So the thing is, the infantry wave tactics has actually worked once, and it might work another time here. But we need to say here that this is something that GamerGeek can't do forever. It is not an infantry division. He has limited infantry. He has to be careful. Firefly now coming in as well. Spots. I don't know what. Looking in that direction. Ah, the Nostovaki, okay. Not one of your cars is still here. It's going to get a Panssaridivisioona kill here, but it's just a regular half-track, so not too bad. But it's definitely potential to kill a unit here. Greg goes down to the Sturmy. Sturmy needs to be careful as a Sherman is approaching, but that one is focusing on the Akari. Akari a little bit too far forward. You want to be tucked in nice and cozy into that forest. Still 12-12 now. We do see a Baltimore and a Marauder bombing, going after the BT. Yeah, ITPSV unfortunately cannot cover this off. This is the other issue with... This is another... Not issue, this is the thing about this push, right? Or pushing in this area in general. Oh no, BAF goes down and the BT. That's absolutely devastating. T-26s could be rediverted, but now there's a Firefly there as well. Ikari might get a kill here on the half-track, but he won't be able to push any further forward any further because of the Greyhound and the Firefly. And we do see a row of T26s coming. I think Gustgod, GamerGeek was just a little bit too early here. I think he should have waited a bit and timed it better. You know, with the BT coming in time, maybe setting up another unit here just to cover, and maybe having some of these ready as well, and then push. J87 now going after the Firefly and the Greyhound. Spitfire is already in there, but I think a little bit too early. The Bofors might be able to stop it. No, it was just all the 50 cals. Wow. Even at medium resilience. And Spitfire, oh no. It's getting another kill, and I don't think it's gonna die either. DPSV it is not bad that it will not kill. You probably want to have another unit there to help that out. And the priest has been spotted though. Yakari pushing forward past his assault engineers. Interesting. Okay. But gets spotted by the rifle spear and this armor there. Yakari here wipes the Storm Pioneer. The field engineers should have no chance against Yakari. Oh, never mind. They got to throw the TNT. So, how did that just happen? How did they throw it so fast without being moved by the Akari's Molotovs? Did they use it before? No. That was a weird interaction. Anyway, 150 is going after the priest. It's an odd choice. I can kind of understand it if he's been aware that this thing has not actually moved at all since it was called. He might be right in his assumption that Gustgod just forgot to move his artillery, which also means that he might be able to just kill it eventually. Now, it is definitely better protected than a regular artillery gun, so you can always question the efficiency in doing this, but it will go down direct to a direct hit since it's open top, so it's definitely killable. We do see a build-up of some Shermans here. Yakari is still alive and without Molotov, so the assault pioneer here should what? It doesn't spot it. This thing is super sneaky. Also, this thing not spotting the assault pioneers. I know that you can be very stealthy if you're in buildings, but this seems a little bit excessive to me. Another one coming in now, it's spotted. But since it's out of Molotovs, it will get wiped. There we go, Yakari is dead. We have another 150 coming in. If we see more than that, our Gustgod noticed that his priest is getting shelled, and yeah, that's not taking no damage, and it's being moved. Another 17 pounder coming in. Very interesting position. Oh, he's not unloading it, just having it ready to go for whenever and wherever he needs it. Two more Stormy coming in. So I think now GamerGeek should once again shift his attention somewhere else with his pushes, as this is now clearly very well defended by Gustgod, so might have more success pushing through here. Once again, still on top. It is a far push, but I think if he can actually, you know, get into these rows of houses here, it's gonna be hard for Gustgod. Sorry, ML. It's always close to yawning. Might be a little bit. It's going to be annoying for Gustgod to get him out of there, and quite hard to do so actually. And that's definitely worth a lot. It could give him 2 flags that Gustgod needs to invest a lot to get back, and those investments would give GamerGeek some time to make pushes somewhere else. Now Gustgod, of course, I think he should also push, but I think as I say, I think he has a little bit more sustain. The problem that he will run into, though, is that it's not going to get easier for him the longer he waits, and the question is also, is his sustain long enough? Because, and will he in the end have enough pushing pressure? Because at the end of the day, he still needs to get across and get a good lead going on. So having more sustain with a time limit does not necessarily mean victory. This is something that we need to keep in mind. Oh, big hit on the D114. Of course, in a quick play game, having the deeper deck and the more artillery and all these kind of things matter a lot more, because these are generally speaking longer games. Tournament games with the 50-minute time limit are a little bit different in that regard. Both is here. Might take out the Baltimore. It is smoking. Bofors are not that good at killing, but it might still be able to do it. We have the ITBSV 41 that did help a little bit. Bofors is targeting it directly. There we go, Baltimore down. That's a big kill for GamerGeek. Very nice there. Looks like we kind of missed that, but looks like Sturmy killed T5 here. Greyhound did also go down. T26, one gets killed by Piats. This one might follow soon. Hikari here doing its best. Piat here misses as it is stressed out. Sturmy Blob here going after the Sherman, so big push here. This flag could soon fall. We do need more infantry to deal with those rifles, Piat, though. Another miss by another rifle, Piat. Sherman 2A coming in as well. So these are, I mean, Gustgod has been using quite a few of those, so they won't last forever. We do have Fireflies and Seaface, though. Not that good against infantry, but considering that the Akari is the most common unit in GamerGeek's deck, that might not be that big of a deal because they will probably not be able to support the infantry anyway. Where it matters, at least. Nostovaki coming in now. That's not the unit that you need right here. Oh, it's gonna get killed by the Piat. No! Oh, Sherman is faster. Oh, so many units dying in the transport. Unsurvives. That was just a little bit too fast. Blob of Shermans here should, generally speaking, win against that Sherman 2A. I would really hope so. Not before the Sherman 2A can manage to kill the Stormy. Wow, super unlucky. So we do see the second Sotka and some T26s and T28s now. Now the pressure is on Blenheim. Tried to get a bombing running, but it looks like it ran away. Spitfires will not survive that. There's an ITPSV and a Bofors now. It turns, and it doesn't turn to the direction of the Bofors. It might be able to get out because the ITPSV is not vetted, and it is quite fast. It is smoking though. It looks like the color did look like it was damaged. You know, it often turns to more like brownish or whatever. So, like rust red, something like that. So it, you know, there are some indications. Oh, 6-pounder here with no APCR off, going after the Sotka, but it's good. It will pen without the APCR. Another Recon Sherman and Sherman 2A in here already. Oh, 17-pounder and Sherman Recon are there and getting some side shots. Oh, ooh. That hurts. That hurts. Sturmies are being forced off. Push getting absolutely smashed. This is the problem. If you push so long at the same place, your opponent will be able to react. And even though GamerGeek managed to get an opening here with superior forces, Gustgod was already well positioned to fend that off, which is really nicely played by Gustgod. This is one of the good reasons why GamerGeek should have pushed somewhere else, and why generally, if your push is not working, just try to push somewhere else. There's no reason to continue brute forcing your way into it, really. And this is always true in general, and especially on these river maps with the bridges, because as I say, it's just funneled into one area. It's so easy to kind of cut that off. And it's so easy to build defense because you know exactly he knows that he has to go through here. He can't just push easily across here. Now in this case it would be true because of this reinforcement though, but you know what I mean, right? And you also can't just push here. So this is why this is especially true for these river maps. 150. This one, no. I thought it showed that one was out of ammo or running low, but actually all of them. Yeah. Oh no, this one is. Yeah, it still has 10 though. This one has not been used that often, which is definitely bad. If you buy expensive big artillery, you need to use it. Still fertile for GamerGeek, as the Zakari here cheeky pushed forward and grabbed his flag. A Recon Sherman, not sure if it's actually going to spot that, to be honest. The problem is if this can easily be cut off, and then this whole bubble will collapse. Firefly here coming on the hill as well. This is now going to be problematic because Gustgod can now actually pretty consistently outrange GamerGeek. Now, there's not that many spots where he can actually do that, but he can still do it in some positions, and it will matter. Hikari here pushing forward, but at this range, no chance against the rifles, Piat, and the rest of this blob will just be forced off. Not a Hikari being called in. Pack 40 here could definitely deal with those, but I guess this area is, yeah, already shelled by a priest. Maybe the other one as well, both of them. 114 is silent. Do you see more motorized rifles coming in, ready for a push? Oh, Hikari have been spotted. There we go. GamerGeek's advantage slipping away, and now Gustgod builds up a push up north. Now this one is actually defended, but Gustgod has had some time to build up pressure. Do you see another push being formed though by... No, not really. Kind of, you have more units in here, but it's directed towards the same area. I really think you should try to swing up north now. I think that would be a much better choice. Or you could try and get some vision here. There is the mill here, which I think I'm not actually 100% sure if it really does, but to me it always felt like you get more vision here. You might be able to spot what's there, and or maybe just try sneak something here and see if you can do some plays. Maybe bait out the boofers, shell it, and then get across. Marauder is now coming in for another bombing run. I'm not sure if that's going to end well. We have another Marauder up north. There is one ITPSV, but it might be a little bit too far back. Oh, we have a smoke play. We don't see that very often. That's really good. Now, the Pack 38 is in a nice position that I've not seen before. So the smoke might be in vain, but it is a nice play for sure. ITPSV probably not going to pin in time. Marauders will get... Yeah, it will launch its bombs. Oh, no, the other Marauder died though. Question is now, will it pin the Pack 38 or not? Will the Pack 38, even if it's not pinned, be able to shoot in time? It will. It fails to kill the Grey Hunter because I think it only does 6 damage, right? It does. And now it's spotted. APCR kills the Grey Hunter. Yeah, that's definitely a threat. Less the Yakari here are all pinned, so the Soul Pioneers might be able to just drive through and surrender things. Latiga is getting surrendered, Yakari falling down. The BAF might be able to stop that, but as soon as the motorized rifles are going to be here, they're going to be able to stop that in return. T-28 kills one motorized rifle and transport by Sherman. Return of favor, Pack 38 pinned. Yeah, that does not look very good. DO-17, I haven't actually checked, only one bomb. It's a 12-kilogram bomb, but not that great. Is it actually? Is it? It's not even fast. This thing's not that good. It's cheap, give it that, but definitely not the bomber that you want. Nothing in comparison to Marauder, of course. But yeah, it does not look good for GamerGeek there. Gustgod on a 30-11 now. There's push finally coming, and he's grabbed the hill, and this is the problem for blue side. If red side gets the hill and manage to secure it, and you can then like put defenses up here, AT, gun support weapons, then you have this flag. You basically get this one guaranteed for free as well, and it's going to be really hard for blue to get back in. Now we do see a swarm of DO-17s and one JU-87. That's definitely going to do some damage. The Bofors can't stop that. A Spitfire can definitely try to, but it will be forced off by the ITPSV before he can shoot anything down, is my assumption. Might change. No. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, that was very close. JU-87 actually got the bombs off. So killing down. Oh, GamerGeek stabilizing. The problem is he doesn't have any tanky Toriunta that could deal with those half-tracks, so that's definitely going to be a little bit of an issue. Or even just a Sherman. I mean, the Akari can definitely kill that with the Panzerfaust, but they need to get close first, and it's not guaranteed. We do have a swarm of T-26s in that can definitely deal with the half-track and the Greyhound, but not with the Shermans. Another Bofors coming in, so another run like this will be difficult. Counter battery going after the Priest, fails to kill it though. 114 back operational going after 150. This one's still, oh no, this one is now out of ammo. This one is silent. So now down south, all quiet and everything. All eyes are up north. Now we have tons of Ikari in here. The problem is they can't push out. They don't have anything to support. There's one Stormy, but that doesn't do it. You need more support. So unfortunately, there's no benefit from doing this right here. And the 150 is on the run as it continues to be under fire. T-26 blob has arrived. Tarkan Puya goes down. Assault engineers in here. The CKC fight is not a fight that Gustgod will win, but as long as it can prevent having to fight that for a prolonged period of time, that's not going to be a problem. Both is here could potentially be in a dangerous spot, as the T-26 could be spot. Oh, it kills it! Wow, that's a huge kill. That enables some airplays by GamerGeek again, and he might still have some JU-87, oh, Pack 38 unloads just in time, but the rifles might spot it now. They do. That was a very bold deployment. T-26 also needs to be careful with the rifles Piet. He needs his Nostovaki to spam forward and stop it. T-26 is going after the Sherman. do they manage to shoot before the Sherman turns? The answer is no. One of them goes down, the other one, I don't think it's gonna pin the rifle spear in time, to be honest. Rifle spear still misses. I mean, it's Piazza after all. They should miss sometimes. Way less often than we think, but we have someone has pointed out in the comments that of course we do have to take the range into account, and this is true. At close range, of course, the accuracy will be higher, so this is one of the reasons why we do see Piazza miss less often than you would think they should. But still, they feel more accurate than they should be. Oh, but not the Nostavaki spam still works. Oh, but T26 shows that. This is a very dangerous thing. I had to learn this the hard way too. You can't just go up here. It is actually, you might actually get sniped. It's a stupid thing. But it is a thing. Although you can also use it to your advantage. You know, if you have an AT gun with some good range, you only need to deploy it here, turn off auto cover, and then you might be able to kill some transports without exposing your AT gun too much. So it kind of goes both ways, you know. Down south, still nothing happening. Not even many reinforcements, at least not that I can see. Sherman pushing forward, but this is a dangerous area here now. There's a Firefly here, there's a Sherman 2 here, there's another Sherman Recce and a Firefly up here. There's AT guns up there. Sherman now pushing around the corner. That's potentially dangerous. Sherman might run into that very soon. Something just died. I could hear it. Sounded like a vehicle. I don't know what it was. Oh, Sherman goes down to Sherman. That's disgusting. That's so disgusting. And it bounces on the other Sherman. Come on. Oh, it was a 2A. Okay, that explains a lot. Because then it is really a 50-50. Up close, the Shermans can definitely pen the Stug, but it should still be in the Stug's favor if the Stug faces the Sherman directly. If not, of course, this is a whole other story, because the Stug would then need to first turn, and that can definitely be a problem. Ju-87, if it flies like, yeah, in the line of sight of the Bofors for too long, it definitely won't get through. But maybe it was also just meant to suck up some bullets, and then the DO-17s are gonna get in, and that's gonna hurt. You are all gonna get in. Spitfire is getting in there. ITPSV might be able to stop that in time, does it? And the Spitfire again turns luckily into the right way. Not gonna shut down. Marauder is coming in as well. But that's also gonna hurt quite a bit. It's probably gonna kill the T26 if I'm gonna be honest. The ITPSV, no, I don't think it's within line of sight. Kivari here, unfortunately. No, actually, they do have the swarm, so they should be able to beat the motorized rifles. One of them dies. The ITPSV is gonna get some pinning. Marauder is doing a very, very deep circle into the wrong direction. Bofors is alive and has finally spotted it. I think the Marauder should die for that. ITPSV, yeah, it's gonna open up as well. That should be the end of that Marauder. Still 30 level for Gustgod as he's holding that flag, just barely. Marauder's flying, okay, not directly home, but again over this direction. What an interesting pathing. I think it's gonna die. ITPSV though is very close to the hill, so it will lose line of sight very soon. And it's shot at as well. But there we go, Marauders finally goes down. Wow, this thing has a lot of sustain though. Gustgod is just barely in the lead as GamerGeek stabilizer. That's still anyone's game. GamerGeek looking weak though overall. He spent a lot of units on this push, then on this push, and neither of those have really worked. I think he just kind of failed to see the writings on the wall that he needs to. Oh wow, that was. I didn't really. So I just saw right as it ended that on top everything was red again. So I guess a lot of things just died there, and Gus got, or maybe Gus surrendered. I don't know because of the pinning from the bombs. And looks like Gus got the hill again. Must have, but yeah, I think GamerGeek just overall he just put too much effort into pushing into areas that Gustgod was already reinforcing because the first push attempt was a little bit too early and failed, and that. But the trades were relatively even. GamerGeek slightly ahead actually. Did not expect that. And although Gustgod lost a lot of planes in the end, so that might actually explain that. But it didn't look too bad for GamerGeek. But I guess, I mean, he was probably running low in infantry. He just doesn't have the pushing power in. I mean, I said that I would have expected a more infantry heavy division to be good, and it still worked out for Gustgod. But I feel like you still need infantry is still very important on this map at the end of the day. So definitely understandable. Spitfire, I'll look at this and go. But Recon got the Blenheim, got a cluster 287. That's definitely really bad. Sherman, Recce at the start killed a lot of things. The lead Sherman as well. Yeah, I think having the T26s can work if you are fighting in an area where you can actually get all the side shots. But other than that, they're just not that good in that matchup because also the infantry can deal with them. So I feel like taking the card of T-3476 that you could also take would probably have been the better idea because these can actually uptrade nicely to Sherman. Another Sherman doing work here. More Shermans doing work. Firefly as well. Sherman 6 powder. Oh, look at this thing go. And I mean, yeah, a lot of rifles are just getting a lot of kills because things are driving through, and transport, of course, is also not the best way to go about a game or the. On the other side, the T26. I mean, okay. So yeah, true. He killed that one Sherman. Forgot about that. Yakari. I mean, yeah. Once you get in up close, Yakari do a lot of damage. We've talked about that. BAF did some work too. The Sotka, of course. I mean, this thing's so hard to kill for the Shermans, and he can outrange them. That's definitely cool. Yeah, look at that. Mosquito and Marauder dying. Miyakari. I mean, the Yakari definitely did their work, but some of them were just wasted unnecessarily, which is super sad. Sturmy here, also doing some good work there. But I think, yeah, that's about it. So not that many units that perform exceptionally well on GamerGeek side. But yeah, interesting game. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day and see you next time.